Hey guys, how's it going? I'm back with another video. Uh, I promised you guys that I was going to do a review of this album last week, but I was just waiting for it to come in the mail because I got a pretty big bundle for this, and maybe I'll share that with you guys at a later time. But right now, it's finally time for me to review the third album from British pop punk band As It Is, and their latest album, The Great Depression. This is what it looks like. Pretty cool artwork overall. This is what the inside of it looks like. Pretty cool imagery, I must say. I'm going to go through track by track. There are 12 tracks in total. I'm going to give you my overall thoughts. And if you know me, and you know how much I've been anticipating this album, despite this being a pop-punk band, you probably know how I'm going to rate this already. Because The Great Depression is a concept album talking about mental illness and the struggles that people deal with whether it's depression or suicidal tendencies or stuff along that line. So let's get started. Track number 1 is the title track called The Great Depression. A really cool way to start off the album. It starts off with this kind of popish, kind of poppy-like intro. And you hear the lead singer say, "Hello consumer, I know you're there," which I think is a pretty cool way to start the album. I really like the vibe of this song. It really kind of sets the tone for the rest of the album, which is what I think an opening track should do. Not only do you hear the pop influences at the beginning of the song, but it then transitions into the chorus where the punk rock of it comes in. And I think the lead singer, Patty Walters, I think that's his name anyway, I really like what he brings to the table, not only in this song, but his vocals are just really on point throughout this whole album. And it's no different here in The Great Depression. He just really, he brings a lot of heart and soul into what he's singing about, which is what you want, right? But overall, The Great Depression is a really good pop. It has a good poppy intro, and it just transitions really smoothly into the punk rock part of it throughout the chorus. And it's just a really good opening track. Okay, track number 2 was the very first single ever released from the album. It's called The Wounded World. Now, this one is a really good song, but there is a part that gets repeated over and over again throughout not only the verses, but it's even at the end of the choruses as well. There's a line that they sing that says, "We're all to blame for the wounded world," and it's constantly repeated throughout the song. That gets kind of annoying, but I can overlook that small nitpick. This is another really good song where it doesn't start off like The Great Depression with that poppy intro. It starts off with Patty Walters' vocals singing the line, "Brothers, sisters, young and old, we're all to blame for the wounded world." And it kind of maintains a steady pace throughout the whole song. That's the only way I know how to really describe it. What stands out to me in this song is some of the lyrics. I'm not saying all the lyrics are great, but some of the lyrics, especially in the bridge, that's the part that stands out to me the most, because it's not Patty Walters actually singing, it's him kind of angrily expressing the words like a spoken word type thing, if you guys know what that is. And it's really cool how he's basically just saying that, we're to blame for this, we're the reason why the world is the way that it is. That's why it's called The Wounded World. And it's a really good message that everybody kind of needs to hear. Yeah, overall, The Wounded World is another great track. Okay, Track number 3 is The Fire, the Dark. This was the very last single released from this album. Came out a couple weeks ago. And this is another really good one. This is kind of a... I'm not going to say it's a softer track, but to me it's definitely softer than The Wounded World and The Great Depression. But the Fire, the Dark is kind of... I don't really know how to explain this one. It's kind of talking about how... I think it's talking about someone in this person's life who has committed suicide, because there's lyrics in here that talk about her being gone and stuff like that. At least that's what I get from the song. It has a darker vibe to it, to me, which really sets the tone for what the lyricism is actually talking about. So it fits. Another really good song. Not as good as the last two, but still really good in its own way. Okay, track number 4 is The Stigma, Boys Don't Cry. Now, I really like this song. This is one of... It starts off slow. Starts off with like a... I don't really know. It starts off with Patty Walters calmly singing. And it does that throughout a good portion of the first half of the song before it really starts to pick up pace in the second verse after the first chorus. It picks up and you can really hear him talking about how, you know, this stigma that boys aren't supposed to cry and that we're supposed to be all masculine and, you know, guys aren't supposed to show emotions, we're not supposed to cry and all that BS. You know, I'm really glad that this song came to life, because it's basically mocking that stigma that boys aren't supposed to show any kind of emotion other than, oh, you know, tough masculinity and stuff like that, which I was really happy about. Very emotional song. Like I said, it starts off really slow and then it picks up the tempo over time, which I think is really cool. And there's another angry bridge in there. There's quite a few of those on this album, actually. But yeah, another great song. And track number 5 is probably my favorite track off the whole album. It's called The Handwritten Letter. This is just a straight pop-punk song the whole way through. Starts off with a really cool little guitar riff, and then you know, it just develops into a really good, emotional, thought-provoking song. You know, it's talking about how we need people in our lives. You know, we can't go through life on our own, even though there's a lot of people who think that they can. You just can't do it all the time. And that's a great message in this song. It's a really great, powerful message of letting people that, you know, you're not alone. So another really great song. I feel like I'm saying that on every single track, but it's true. Track number 6 is The Question, the Answer. This is one of the ballads on the album. Really beautiful song, instrumentally and vocally. I think Patty Walters does an absolutely amazing job of showing his emotion on this song. It's the kind of song that makes you think and that kind of pulls at your heartstrings a little bit. It's basically he's questioning life, and there's a line in there that really sticks out to me. It says, "Is it also a beautiful nightmare on the other side?" And I take that to mean, you know, even if I get out of this, is it ever going to get any better on the other side once I'm out? That's a really powerful message that a lot of people can relate to. Another great song. And track number 7 is probably my least favorite off the album. It's called The Reaper, and it's actually featuring Aaron Gillespie. I think he's the lead singer of Under Oath, which I find interesting, considering how Under Oath has done a complete 180 the this last album. But yeah, I didn't really think this song was all that special, so I don't have much to say about it. Definitely my least favorite. Just doesn't really stick out to me at all. So I'm going to move on to number 8, which is called The Two Tongues, Screaming Salvation. This is one of the best songs on the whole album. Very, very in your face, very emotional. No, it's basically talking about the devil and how, you know, when you're depressed, you feel like the devil is like in your ear telling you that death is the only answer, when in fact, you know, in reality it's not the right answer. But he's got you convinced that it is. Great song. Definitely in my top 3 on this album. Maybe even top 5. Track number 9 is The Truth I'll Never Tell. Another interesting song that really captures someone who is in a rut, someone who saying, you know, even if I tell you what I'm really going through, are you even really going to care? You know, are you just going to write it off as another thing that happened? That's what I get from it. Another really good song, really another great bridge. The bridge is the most emotional part in the whole song as far as the lyrics go. Another great song. Track number 10 is The Haunting. Now this is probably the most, I know this isn't a word, but probably the vibiest song on the whole album. It has a really cool vibe to it. Very up-tempo, another really in-your-face song that deals with death to me and stuff like that. I'm hurrying through the last couple because I'm about to run out of time on my iPad. I can only do up to 15 minutes on this, so I'm trying to hurry up a little bit. But that's another good song. Track number 11 is The Hurt, the Hope, which is another ballad on the album. Another really beautiful song. Beautifully done. You know, it's talking about kind of accepting that, you know, even though you're hurting, there's always going to be hope at the end. Another good message that everybody can relate to. Another really good song. And finally, track number 12 is appropriately titled The End. This is my second favorite song off of the whole album. It really puts into perspective of how nobody truly listens to people with mental illness. That's what it's talking about. Talking about how nobody's listening and there's nobody that really cares what's going on in people's lives. They just write it off as, you know, hey, you know, this is just a phase. You know, you heard the words that I'm saying, but you didn't feel the hurt that got me to this point. That's what the song is saying to me. Great lyrics in this song, great overall emotion in the vocals and the instruments. It just really makes this closer really good. But anyway, I'm going to give this album, believe it or not, a 10 out of 10. And the reason I'm giving it that is because it really resonates with me. Yes, it's a pop-punk album, as it is as a pop-punk band, but if it's something that I can relate to on a personal level, yeah, you're not going to get any complaints from me. Even though there's one song that I don't care for, I still give it a 10 out of 10. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. What do you think of this album? Does it sound like something you'd be interested in listening to? Drop a comment down below, subscribe to my channel, and as always, I'm going to be making a second video here in a minute about the new Bring Me the Horizon single. So stay, excuse me, now I got the hiccups at the very end, nice. Anyway, stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. Take care.